Hi guys, thanks for spending time with Tiff today. I know I haven't been on for a couple of days, but I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and all that good stuff. So I want to jump right into it. I always offer up a motivational, something from a motivational perspective, something that, will help to inspire, that will truly help a person to really kind of, invoke thought, ponder on it, something that'll keep you supercharged and keep you going, right? So I want to talk about Kevin Samuels. God rest the dead, rest well, wherever you're resting, in your resting place. I've been watching everything that's been happening on social media. I've been listening to things, had the opportunity to listen to him in the past. It's so interesting to see how others share their point of view or perspective based on what they've heard. But really what he was most known for was really around, in the guise of offering advice, it was really more around bashing women, particularly women that were African American, right? So we know that to be true. And had a following, right? Had people, and I think it was more so for the shock value, because I know for me, watching him and seeing some of the things that he said, and some of his sound bites, really, it was really for shock value. A lot of it was around shock value, but my thing is just trying to understand how folks, after it is that he would give them the advice, how they walked away really feeling on the inside, especially going to him and really seeking the advice and then him giving the feedback that he provided. And it was so harsh and brash, and so how and then also how he delivered it, almost a mockery, almost, really downtrodden and really berating and browbeating women, but all under the guise of, I'm giving you some sound advice so that you can change your life, right? Tough love is one thing, and I get that. I've had to have a dose of that a time or two in my life. I've had to get that out, and I've also had to receive it. And it really doesn't feel good. But in the same way, tough love is also the overarching feeling or theme. Even though it might hit to the core and we may not like it, it is around love. And it definitely is rooted in love. And it's rooted in the intention that the person that you're giving it to, you're giving it to them so that they can think about it, ponder it, and then make changes, right? For themselves, right? You think about, how it is that he, I guess it's no different for me, but, I'm in, my office and I'm having the conversation, I want to try to change, typically try to change things up, go outside, wherever I'm at and share, as I'm led to do so. But he was in that one room most of the time. I found that to be interesting. I love the way he dressed, there was a lot of, we talked about him being an image consultant, being a, and then obviously a social media, influencer, that kind of thing. I talked a lot about on my previous video, in What Do We Believe, right? And I find it interesting that there's so many men that would co-sign, not all men, I'm not saying that, but so many men that would co-sign the behavior or the advice that was given simply because they may have been feeling it themselves. And I'll say this, having done the work that I've done on myself to be a better person over time in my life, coming from, as I talk about younger Tiffany going into and coming into older Tiffany, my older self, having had the opportunity to really spend the time doing the work to self-reflect, to, look at myself in a realistic perspective, to answer some real tough questions about myself, my personality, my character, my behavior. That leads me to believe that a lot of what his feedback was rooted in was hurt. Low self-esteem in some instances. A lot of hurt, though, around things that over time had hardened his heart and hardened his spirit. And so, to me, in some twisted kind of way, him being the social media influencer that he was, gave him the outlet to share how he felt and to spew or cast all that negative energy that was coming from within inside of him to other people. That's how I feel about that. And it really hit my spirit, because understanding the work that I had to do, a lot of times, we'll tear people down in order to build ourselves up when we're at a place that we're not okay with ourselves. I'm going to say that again. We will tear people down to build ourselves up when we're at a place on the inside. I'm going to add on the inside where we're not okay with ourselves. Right? So everything on the outside. And so he had people's ear because he looked nice, right? We read on Instagram how much he was worth. They say at the time of his death, it was $4 million. So, we start to compare, right? And compete in our minds and try to measure up and say we're not worthy. Obviously, he has to be saying something right if it is that he's acquired all this wealth and all these followers. But that's BS. And that's what I was talking about. In what do you believe? Because see, it could have been a woman that was broken, beat down, hurt by her husband, totally in love with her husband, but blaming herself for maybe them divorcing or whatever, going onto that man's channel and him saying what he said and making her feel that way. And she walked away either confirming just how bad she is, right? Or he made her feel way worse. So I know I'm 6 minutes in and I'm talking about Kevin Samuels and because I really want to, and I'm going somewhere with this. But when I say all of that, I say that to say the message today for us is the proof is really in how we live. So when we think about reading things, and I'm using him as an example, when we think about, Google yourself sometime and see what social media is saying about you, right? But when we go in and we try to Google him and we understand or try to understand a little bit more about him, you don't hear any celebrity saying he was such a great man, but he was this. You don't see anything about those people that he so-called image consulted, that they're now doing this, or this is the life that they're living now as a result of his teaching, his support, and his influence. All you see is that he's a social media influencer. You see how much his net worth is. You see the kinds of things and the way that he treated people. And that's the biggest highlight of this man's life, as it is that he has left the earth. So a couple things I say when I talk about the proof is in how we live. The proof is in how we live because when you are given the opportunity to have a platform, and what was his viewers? 1.2 million viewers. And you have the influence and the platform and the ability to share, to impact the world. Be careful how you impact the world. And I'm not saying by any stretch, hey, those who are believers, those who are spiritual may know where I'm going with that. And some of us may say, hey, as sure as we're born, we're going to die. But I'm telling you, the time within the dash that we use, let it be the proof in how it is that you live. Because I know for me, when I die, I want to have impacted this world in a loving and caring way. And everything that it is, and I'm not perfect, but everything that it is that I say out of my mouth or how I treat people should be rooted in love. And I always want it to be that way. And that's what I encourage and impart on you today. The proof isn't really how you live, right? We can look at social media. We see people getting new cars and getting new clothes and flashy and jewelry and this and that and what I got for this birthday, that birthday, all of that. And that's fine and that's great. And I celebrate you and I'm grateful for those people. And I thank God that you have the ability, the resources in your life to do that and share that. So I celebrate with you. I'm definitely not a hater. But one, in what do we believe? That's one thing. And the other thing is the proof is in how we live. So at the very end of the day, Kevin Samuels had a real nice suit on. Oh, I did read that he had and purchased a lot of nice cars. I did see that about him. But everything else that it is that we know about this person, that we go on and we, and be careful how we cheer on nonsense. Be careful how you cheer on nonsense. Because at the end of the day, when this life is over, whether it is that there's an eternal or not, and again, it's in what you believe, right? But understand that Whatever it is that we've done, and it could be on this earth. It could be karma, right? It could be karma, negative energy. It could be hell. It could be heaven. It could be all those things, right? But really, the proof is in how we lived our life and the time that was given to us in the dash from the sunrise until the sunset. What did we do with that time? Did we make good use of that time? Did we help people and help others? Did we really make good use of that time? Or did we front, fake the funk, show off, keep up with the Joneses, mistreat people, step on people for promotion in life, tear people down to build ourselves up because of our low self-esteem and our insecurity? Or do we make a real truthful impact on this life? Do we try to browbeat people with our spiritual understanding, telling them they're going to burn because they don't believe what we believe? What is it that we did in this lifetime that helps to impact the world in a way that will help the world and not hurt the world? So I just impart that on you today. And I encourage you all, as I always say, keep going, right? But as you keep going, remember, it's important that, one, in what do you believe? Because that's going to reflect the proof of how you live in this life based on what you believe. Again, my prayers are with his family and all of that. But yeah, that's all I can say. The proof is definitely in how we live. And that should be something that we should ponder on, and that should be something that we should assess often in our life so that we know we're going in the right direction. So thanks so much for spending time with me today. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.